Good afternoon, guys. We are nowhere near being done yet. We've got more receivers to look at, and we're going to start this video with Ronnie Bell of the Michigan Wolverines. 23 years old, average size, 6 feet tall, 191 pounds, 31-inch arms, 9.5-inch hands. 40 time was lackluster. 10-yard split was pretty good, though. 38.5-inch vert, good. 10-foot broad, decent. Just sub-second, 7-second 3-cone. 4.15 20-yard shuttle, 14 bench press reps, decent enough combine. The one big board that really likes this guy is the Draft Network. They have him in the third. Most of the others have him a lot lower than that. The aggregate says somewhere around the fifth round. Seems reasonable to me. He had his best year in 2022. He actually missed basically all of 2021. 14 games, he gave you almost 900 yards and 4 touchdowns on 62 catches on that Michigan offense that, I don't know how conducive it is to put up big receiving yards on Michigan right now. So, pretty good production. Beyond that, Ronnie Bell, he's a technician with his route running, runs good routes. He's got good jumps, which he can use on the football field to high point passes. He's going to give himself an opportunity to catch overthrown passes pretty consistently. He's good in the open field with the ball in his hands. You get him the ball in, that line of scrimmage area, he's going to find ways to make things happen. He's got an overall really big catch radius, so his ball skills are on point. He was used creatively at Michigan with motion and where he was lined up. He would do like jet sweep stuff a little bit. He was usually faking the jet sweep, admittedly. He wasn't super productive on jet sweeps, but they were able to use him like that. He's going to give you some returning upside. Smart player when it comes to how to attack zone coverage. He understands how to find the holes in zone. So there's definitely some stuff to really be interested in with Ronnie Bell. The thing is, though, even though he has a big catch radius and he's able to high point passes, sometimes he doesn't finish the catch. Like sometimes he'll do all that great stuff and then drop the pass anyway. Um, you jam him at the line of scrimmage, it's going to be hard for him to get off of it. He'll get deterred from his route, he'll get delayed and ruin the play. He's not really a deep threat. He's not going to do a whole lot of damage vertically. And even though I do think it's understandable that he didn't have big production at Michigan, he didn't. And the year before, he barely did anything. And the year before that, he gave you about 400 yards, very quiet. So, not big production overall from Ronnie Bell in college. But I would say overall, he's kind of boring, but a pretty decent prospect. I think that if you get him in the fifth round, you did pretty good. At the very least, you're getting a decent returner. So I would say reasonable fifth round selection, nothing against it. All right, now we have Rakeem Jarrett of the Maryland Terrapins, another Maryland receiver, and he's not the last one either. 22 years old, 6 feet tall, 192 pounds, 31 and 3/8 inch arms, 9 and 3/8 inch hands. Pretty good combine. 4.44 for his size, that's solid. 1.5 110 yard split, which that belies really good acceleration. 36-inch vert almost, 10-foot 3-inch broad, 13 bench press reps. Pretty good combine, I'd say. The big boards, a couple didn't have him. The one that likes him the most is the Draft Network. They have him in the fourth. The aggregate has him in the fifth. Seems reasonable to me. He was very. He indicated that he was about to take a big leap after 2021 when he had over 825 yards. And then the next year dropped off significantly. It didn't even have 500 yards. Part of it was because he was sharing receiver duties with a lot of other pretty good receivers at Maryland, of course. This guy was actually a 5-star recruit out of high school, and all the big colleges recruited him. He stayed at Maryland because he wanted to stay close to home. So there's a lot of talent here that hasn't fully manifested itself, but the talent is still there. He aligned all over the place. He was inside. He was outside. He did like some of that. He lined up in the backfield in some occasions. There was a pretty wide range to how he was utilized in college. He's good against press coverage. He can beat the press at the line of scrimmage. He's smart with how he attacks his own defense. He can find the holes in the zone, get open, and sit down, wait for the quarterback to get him the ball. He's got good acceleration, so even though he doesn't have super good top end speed, he's able to get open with that acceleration. He's a good route runner. He's hard to tackle and elusive, so he's going to give you a ton of production after the catch. He's going to make a lot of players miss, and he's going to squeeze out those extra yards. Um, And his combine 40 time, I think, was above expectations. So maybe there's a layer to his game that hasn't been fully unlocked yet. At Maryland, I can say that he was not a vertical threat, so that part of his game needs to be unleashed, but it might be there. He's one of those guys that they say is not a natural hands catcher. He can use his body to finish catches. He's a body catcher. He drops a few too many passes. He doesn't have a big catch radius. And just generally speaking, that 2022 season was a disappointment. I think after the 2021 season, a lot of people expected him to ascend. He did not. He went the other way, the complete other way. So I'm intrigued because there's a lot of stuff to like about him, and the 40 time indicates that he might be a better vertical threat once he gets to an offense that is able to utilize it better. So I don't like the fact that his hands are not good. That might be something that will be hard to teach, but I would take him in the 5th round and hope he works it out. Okay, now we have Trey Tucker, another one of my favorites. A Cincinnati Bearcat, 22 years old, 5'9", 182 pounds, short arms, almost, not even 29-inch arms, 8 and 5/8 inch hands. So the measurables, but the speed is really good, 4.4 flat, and his 10-yard split was incredible, 1.48. The dude accelerates like that. 37.5-inch vert, very good. 10-foot 4-inch broad, nice. PFF has him going like undrafted, and the other extreme of that would be the Draft Network. They think he's an early 5th rounder. The aggregate says he'll be around the 6th round, maybe the late 5th. And let me tell you, if he's available there, I'm feeling really good about trying to bring him in because I like what this guy can bring to the table. Not huge production in 2022, but he gave you over 50 catches in 12 games for close to 700 yards. Not bad. Definitely didn't have any monster years, but I think there was a pretty good reason for that. He's mostly a slot guy, and there were other really good receivers at Cincinnati while he was there. So Trey Tucker, the thing that characterizes him is that he's fast and he accelerates so quickly. He gets up to his top speed instantaneously, it feels like. He's really good at making things happen in space when he's got the ball in his hands. You get him the ball with some space, he's going to make things happen. He's going to make guys miss. He's going to get extra yards. He's an advanced level route runner. He understands how to run routes in a way that will allow him to get open just because he did a little thing just a little bit different to throw the defender off. He's an excellent return man. I think he had a couple of touchdowns last year for Cincinnati. He's got great hands. He's going to make a play on every ball that comes in his direction. He's going to do those little things to make sure he has a chance to get the ball. Even though he's small, he fights hard through contact, fights hard through jams at the line of scrimmage. He's somebody who plays bigger than his actual size, and he even showed the ability to make big plays down the field for the Bearcats. Now, I don't know how much of that translates to the NFL. He is a smaller guy. He's probably only going to be able to play the slot in the NFL. And I don't know how much his ability to do things like make contested catches will translate in the NFL. We're going to kind of have to wait and see. But overall, there isn't that much bad to say about Trey Tucker. Like, he's bringing so much stuff, and most of the criticisms just have to do with the fact that he's small. And you can easily overcome that. We have a really good example of that on the team right now. So if Trey Tucker's there in the 6th round, that's one of my favorites. And I'd happily spend a 5th on him. I would reach for him in the 5th round, no problem. Okay, one last guy in this video. It's Jadon Haselwood of the Arkansas Razorbacks. 22 years old. Bigger guy, 6'2", 215 pounds, 31.25-inch arms, 10-inch hands. Really slow 40 for a receiver, 4.66. But he had a pretty decent vert, pretty decent broad. Nice little 3-cone, actually. 6.98's workable. 4.31 20-yard shuttle. And the only big board I found that I actually use specifically that has him getting drafted is PFF. And they barely have him getting drafted. Aggregate says 7th round pick. This guy seems like he'll probably be a 7th round pick to me. Seems like a reasonable thought. His 2022 season, kind of an oddity here. So Haselwood started at Oklahoma, and he did not really do that good at Oklahoma. He had to go to Arkansas to play with KJ Jefferson and their run-heavy attack to actually produce. He gave you 60 catches in 12 games, 700 yards, 3 touchdowns. So for a run-heavy offense, that's pretty good receiver production. He's big, he's strong, he's got a nice catch radius, he's going to make a play on a lot of balls that go his way. Pretty good route runner, not a great route runner. I think that his size and his speed deficiencies are going to make it impossible for him to be a great route runner, but he runs pretty quality routes. He's hard to cover just because of his physicality. He's going to make things happen at the point of the catch that defensive backs are going to have a hard time dealing with. That being said, it's hard to get around this 40 time. Good luck separating from defensive backs. He's going to have to make a lot of contested catches in the NFL to make this work. And even though his catch radius is good, he does have a few too many drops, which is a problem for a guy who plays like this. He's probably going to be a possession receiver because he's not going to be able to separate. You need to have good hands. And for a guy who's this big, not much of a blocker. I wasn't that impressed with the blocking. So I don't know. I look at him and I see some things I like, but I also see enough that I don't like that I think is going to limit him significantly. With how many day 3 receivers I like, I'm kind of out. I would be interested in him as a UDFA, maybe. And honestly, even then, I don't know how interested I would be. Like, you are talking about having limited UDFA slots right now because of the way the bonus money works. And overall, Jadon Hazelwood strikes me as, I don't know, J.J. Arcega-Whiteside without the blocking. And that's really not good. So some intriguing upside here, I guess. I can't say he's not worth it as a UDFA, but I can also say there are probably going to be UDFAs I like more. So Hazelwood not really doing it for me. That's it for this video. There's going to be one more receiver video in a couple hours. See you guys later. Go Hawks.